Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. This past Saturday, Texas voters headed to the ballot box to vote on important local issues, from city council to important bond decisions. We've got the full breakdown on the highlights from the uniform election this past weekend. We begin in Nueces County with the Flower Bluff ISD election. The community has decided to invest almost $200 million into their children's education after all three bond propositions passed. Improvements include traffic mitigation, school safety, bus replacements, new and updated technical education opportunities, and Naval Junior ROTC renovations, along with updates to Hornet Stadium and more. Agua Dulce Elementary will also receive infrastructure updates after the community's bond passed as well. Bishop Consolidated ISD decided on 3 school board seats, and Agua Dulce decided on 1. We now jump over to Jim Wells County in the city of Fremont. There's a new mayor, with Dali Perez defeating incumbent Priscilla Vargas. Neither city council position had an opponent, and in the Orange County School District, the only change is Travis Wanarek replacing Alice Gonzalez. And Alice Mayor Cynthia Carrasco has won another term, defeating Ron Burke, and the only change on the city council is in place 3, where Priscilla Gonzalez Cope defeated Sandra Maldonado Bowen. The Alice ISD trustee election place 3 was decided by 3 votes, with incumbent Albert Molina defeating Willie Ruiz. The only change in the council is in place 7, where Debbie Guerrera will replace board president Maggie Perez. She ran unopposed. Meanwhile, a lot of changes are on the way in San Patricio County. KEDT's Emily Salazar has more.
In San Patricio County, the city of Aransas Pass had 6 propositions on the ballot, all of which passed. The Aransas Pass city manager can no longer head a department except on an interim basis. Council members and the mayor cannot serve for more than 3 consecutive terms. A city council member cannot serve as mayor pro tempore for more than 1 term consecutively. Resolutions and ordinances must be adopted by the affirmative vote or a majority of members present and voting. All bond issues over $8 million will be sent out to a vote. And zoning notice requirements to property owners now extends to 500 feet. Former Place 2 City Council member Jason Knight defeated incumbent Mayor Ram Gomez. In Ingleside, a combined 15 propositions were brought forward. Article 12, that contained transitional provisions of the city charter, will be removed. If the mayor or a city council member misses 6 regularly scheduled city council meetings in a year, they will be removed. Bond proposals will be approved after 1 reading at a city council meeting. Charter amendments must be formally added to the charter within 180 days after being adopted. The printing company will now determine the cost of purchasing the charter. A free copy will be available at the library. The Sunset Committee's duties and authority will now be specified in the city charter. The city manager has 180 days after the end of the fiscal year to submit the annual audit report. The Planning and Zoning Commission is no longer required to assist and comment on the 5-year capital program. The city will no longer award contracts that do not require a round-robin format. The Zoning and Planning Committee members cannot be city employees or hold another elected office. The Charter Review Commission will now have 2 backup members whose terms last 180 days. It will only take 2 members of City Council to call a special meeting. The city manager must also notify the City Council prior to hiring or firing assistant directors of city departments. Almost $45 million will be invested in the Ingleside School District with Proposition A passing. Children will soon have new school buses. The focus of the money will go toward elementary school classrooms, middle and high school facility education facilities, and district-wide safety and security upgrades. The second bond that passed will be used to refinance previous city debt. Ingleside ISD will not see any change on the school board. Linda Timmerman won the only competitive city council race and will represent those living in Place 5. In Mathis, Mayor Siri Villarreal Jr. was re-elected and defeated Eva F. Madrano Solis. As for the Mathis ISD election, Ramon Acosta Jr. won re-election to school trustee Place 7, and it was the only competitive race. In Odom, the city reauthorized the use of local sales tax to be used to finance the maintenance and repairs of streets. In Place 2, Becky Veit will be a new face in the city council. In Place 5, where incumbent Elizabeth Acevedo was defeated by Virginia Garza. The Odom Edroy competitive races in Place 1 and 5 resulted in the incumbent winning. Gregory Portland ISD residents have approved over $200 million worth of improvements to the school system that will see the expansion of the athletic facilities. Improvement to the athletic facilities classroom technology, and existing infrastructure improvements. Sinton ISD voters have elected incumbent Danny Lorborough, along with newcomers Richard Gingrich Jr. and Thomas Bowers. For Taft ISD, Paul Luis Trevino will stay on the board and be joined by newcomers Nicole Banda Garza and Johnny Franco, who received one more vote than now former Vice President Sylvia J. Montemayor. Finally, Beeville ISD Vice President Teresa T. Arthur will remain a trustee, receiving 21 more votes than her opponent. And Mitch Luna will take Sandra Martinez's seat in Sub-District 1. Lon Gonzalez has more results from Victoria County and the surrounding area.
Improvements are on their way to the Victoria Community Center that will see tax increases on short-term vehicle rental and an increase in the hotel occupancy tax rate. Last month, I spoke with City Manager Jesus Garza about that project.
This would, for the first time, put Victoria on the map to be able to host legit rodeos, legit horse cutting events, bull riding events, a whole slew of events in that field, right, that we currently just don't have a facility for. And so obviously with that comes, an opportunity for economic impact, an opportunity to help boost our local tourism industry, as well as an opportunity to even have a venue to host some large events that we currently just don't have a venue for.
Victoria ISD's election saw Vice President Margaret Pruitt reelected, and Mickey Costello will now replace former President Mike Mercer as the representative for District 7. The community of Bloomington is now an official town after the proposition passed as well, with over 75% approval. In Bayside, Stephen Nix will represent Place 5 after winning by 2 votes. And in Refugio, Alfredo Valenzuela Jr. will replace at-large City Council member Leonard Ansaldúa. All other seats either did not have an opponent or will remain the same. In Calhoun County, a hospital district will not be created, with 52% of people who voted rejecting the plan. The school board will remain the same except for Tyler McAfee, replacing Rene Flores, representing District 3. The Calhoun County Port Authority District 5 commissioner seat was decided by 1 vote, with Roger Martinez Jr. defeating Thomas Guerra. I'm Lon Gonzalez for KEDT News.
Finally, in Aransas County, the 2 competitive elections saw Marianne Palmeyer remain the alderwoman of Place 3, and Eli Ramos won re-election to represent Place 4 in the Rockport-Fulton ISD election. We now check out results in the Rio Grande Valley. Here's Spencer Chihawk with more.
In Brooks County, city leadership in Falfurrias will see some major changes. Martin Cabrera will become the new mayor, defeating incumbent Justo Ramirez. Pau Lani Guerrera and Cecily Ramirez will serve 2-year terms in City Council, and Frank Alvardado Jr. was voted into an unexpired City Council term. Brooks County Independent School District's only competitive race saw Dominique Algeria win Precinct 2 without an incumbent running. Hidalgo County's town of Progreso will see some significant changes in their City Council. Terms will now be increased to 4 years, and 1 new seat will be added. The emergency district in Hidalgo County will be expanding, with voters deciding on adding a 5th and 6th district. Tax increases for districts 1 through 4 failed, however. In San Juan, Mario Garza will be mayor for the 3rd time. The Hidalgo Independent School District will be receiving $25 million worth of upgrades after both its bond elections passed. Sullivan City's mayoral race will be headed for a runoff. Sylvia Castillo challenges incumbent mayor Alma D. Salinas. The Cameron County Venue Project did not pass. It's now the 3rd time this decade a multi-purpose arena project has failed at the ballot box. Elon Musk's wish to create his own city came true on Saturday. The Texas Newsroom's Lauren McGahee reports on the results of the election to incorporate the area around SpaceX's rocket launch site.
Within minutes of polling places closing on Saturday night, the race was already called. The city of Starbase was approved by a landslide. Most of the 283 eligible voters work for SpaceX. It's not clear if Musk cast a ballot. The vote clears the way for Starbase to try to capture more control over the nearby public beach, which must be closed for launches. Activists protested there on Saturday with an Elon Musk piñata in tow.
Elon Musk wants to build up his operations as quickly as he can, create essentially his own fascist town so that he can send rockets to Mars at the expense of our community.
Musk has also floated creating a new city at his corporate complex outside Austin. I'm Lauren McGahee reporting from the now official City of Starbase.
A seawater desalination plant project will go forward in the Laguna Madre Water District. It is the second bond to receive approval from voters related to the project. It has also received federal funding earlier this year from the Biden administration. Finally, La Feria Independent School District will receive a $20 million bond to improve maintenance like air conditioning and construction of a career and technology building. That is all from the Valley. For KEDT News, I'm Spencer Chihawk.
Texas has officially joined more than 30 states that have an education savings account plan. The Texas Newsroom's Blaise Gainey reports a new law creates a program to provide state tax dollars to families educating their children outside of the public school system.
With $1 billion in initial funding, Texas' program is the largest day one plan of its kind in the nation. When up and running, families will be able to open accounts they can use toward private school tuition, homeschooling, and other education-related expenses. Here's Texas Governor Greg Abbott at the bill's signing.
When I ran for re-election in 2022, I promised school choice for the families of Texas. Today, we deliver on that promise.
Children with disabilities and those from low-income families will be given the first opportunity to enroll in the program. Then it opens up to everyone with no income cap. That's something Democrats who opposed the bill criticized. I'm Blaise Gainey in Austin.
Seadrift city officials will discuss a recent report from the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality claiming there are several violations with the city's water treatment plant. Seadrift is planning a special meeting for 6 p.m. Thursday to discuss this, along with the city secretary position and job description. The Port Lavaca Wave reported a change in the executive branch in Seadrift as City Secretary Gabriela Torres submitted her resignation last week, effective May 15th. Travelers at all U.S. airports will see some changes beginning Wednesday when those wanting to travel to the country will need a Real ID compliant card. If you have a gold star in the top right corner of your state-issued ID or driver's license, you're good to go. The Transportation Security Administration and the Department of Homeland Security are implementing the nationwide changes to prevent fraud. Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport Director Angel Ramos previously told KRGV, if you don't have a real ID, you can use a passport. If you have neither, you might have to go through additional screening. Those without a real ID or passport could also be denied from going through the TSA checkpoint, preventing them from boarding a flight. Ramos said once this change is implemented, it could take some time to go through the airport. The changes apply to domestic flights and passengers over the age of 18. If you aren't sure if your ID card is compliant, you can check the Homeland Security website, dhs.gov, for more information. Corpus Christi's Ben F. McDonald Library at 4044 Greenwood Drive in Council District 2 will be temporarily closed through Tuesday. The cause is a damaged control board in the building's chiller system caused by a transformer failure, which has caused indoor temperatures to reach nearly 90 degrees. The library will reopen on Wednesday. For continued library services, you can visit the nearest branches, La Retama Central Library at 805 Comanche Street in Council District 1, and Anita and W.T. Nayland Library at 1230 Carmel Parkway in Council District 2. For more information, visit the library's official site at corpuschristitx.gov/department/directory/libraries. And today is Cinco de Mayo, and tonight's a night for celebration. Joe Michael spoke with Professor Isabel Araiza, Associate Professor of Sociology at Del Mar College, about the celebration's history and development.
People celebrating Cinco de Mayo today might be a little bit confused as to its history. According to PhD Professor Isabel Araiza, Associate Professor of Sociology at Del Mar College,
some people might mistake Cinco de Mayo as a celebration of Mexico's independence from Spain. Mexico's Independence Day is September 16th. The Battle of Puebla was this fight where the French were invading the countryside, and the poor people in the countryside rose up and then pushed the French soldiers out. It was a temporary victory. That battle in Mexico isn't celebrated the way that it is in the United States. It's actually a Mexican-American holiday.
The Mexicans' victory over the French at the Battle of Puebla in 1862 inspired Hispanic communities in the United States to celebrate Cinco de Mayo going forward, where it is now part of U.S. corporate culture.
When it was reported, there was kind of like the celebration that had happened. And then over time, what happened with these private, like kind of social clubs that would pool resources and have like a little celebration. But it was private social groups that were doing that, and it was very local. And so when that had happened, what we also saw were like basically small mom and pop Mexican-owned businesses saying, oh, you know what, we can use Cinco de Mayo as a reminder of who we are, but also kind of draw attention to our businesses. Then big businesses saw that and saw that, you know, that was a money-making opportunity. And so then you had big businesses that were riding on those coattails behind Cinco de Mayo and saying, hey, you know what we could do? We could celebrate Cinco de Mayo. We can recognize Cinco de Mayo. It'll resonate with the Mexican-American community, and maybe they'll come and buy our goods.
Dr. Ariza is hopeful people will learn Cinco de Mayo's accurate history as the celebration continues to develop.
As the evolution of the acknowledgement and celebration of Cinco de Mayo has changed, we've lost the history of it. So in sociology, we say that if you want to understand what's happening today, it's really important to look at the intersection of biography and history. That historical forces shape current social phenomena, whether we're looking at it as just phenomena or if it's an issue. You know, I think it's important for us to return back to like sharing that history because it gets lost. It's a reminder of why programs like Mexican American Studies are important.
This is Joe Smichael for KEDT.
And the Eta Aquariid meteor shower is about to reach its peak, and you'll need to get up late tonight, early tomorrow to see this celestial show. It's the last meteor shower until late July and is considered to be one of the best annual showers in the southern hemisphere, according to NASA. The meteor shower will peak tonight into the early morning hours of Tuesday. To catch the meteors at their peak, go outside around 2 a.m. local time Tuesday and lie on your back, look away from the moon, and give your eyes about 30 minutes to adjust to the dark. Avoid looking at bright lights, such as your cell phone, as this will take your eyes off the sky and ruin your night vision. The pieces of space debris that interact with our atmosphere to create the Eta Aquariids originate from Comet Halley, which takes about 76 years to orbit the sun once. The last time it was seen by casual observers was in 1986, and Comet Halley will not enter the inner solar system again until 2061. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.